Hi guys, it's Carla at Posture Studio, and I'm going to show you a basic cat-cow series, all fours series, that is super helpful for core stabilization and strength. And it'll also help you actually go through flexion, extension, and side bending using your core muscles. And again, your core, it's easier to say what your core is not than what it is. Your core is not your neck, your head, your arms, and your legs. Your core is everything else. So that means your shoulder girdle is your core, your pelvic girdle, your hips, and all the stuff in between. That's your core. Your back is part of your core. Okay, so I'm going to use some little gliders here to do this series. You can, if you have a hardwood floor, you can just use socks. You can put towels under your hands. You can use a few different things. It doesn't have to be gliders, but as long as you have something that allows for some slipperiness on a floor. They do make gliders also actually that you can use on carpet, so you can find those online. Okay, so I'm just going to start off on all fours. And make sure your elbows don't lock out. So, you're watching for that. I'm going to unlock those elbows and press higher through my back. Now, that's a very simple explanation for what to do with your arms. If you have questions for your arms in general, you can send me a note. But anyway, so I'm keeping my arms nice and long. I'm drawing my chin to chest. I'm lengthening up through my whole back. So I'm not going to be rounded here. I'm in a nice long line. And from here, I'm just going to play around with flexing my torso. So it looks like the cat part of the cat-cow. So I'm going to go into a deep flexion of my torso and simultaneously draw my hands in toward me. And now I'm going to slowly let that go as I go back out to a straight line. This is actually a lot harder than it looks. And again, I'm exhaling, drawing those abs up, and I'm pulling these guys to me. And then inhale, lengthen all the way back out. So what I find this does is it helps people figure out that the flexors of the torso are actually what flex your body. It's not just your neck flopping around. It's not just pushing through your joints. You're actually using the flexors in your torso and then pull this up or pull this in and then go all the way back out. Okay? Now we're going to do this side to side. So I'm going to take my right hand and I want to draw it toward my right hip and then come all the way back to center. I'm going to do that on the other side. So I'm going to draw my left hand toward my left hip and then come all the way back. I could also just land this one hand in the center, so that's going to take me through a greater rotation and then come all the way. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to release my hand off of this one glider. I don't need it. I'm going to put this hand in the center, and I'm going to take this hand that's still on this glider and spin it over to the side as if I'm trying to touch my leg, and then come all the way back to center. So what this allows me to do is I'm going to feel the muscles in my side waist that allow me to side bend. Now remember, side bending is one of the major 4 motions of the torso. And it's really essential that you're still able to do this over time. Okay, I'm going to switch hands, so I'm not going to do too many of those. I'm exhaling as I go over, inhale to come back, and again, exhale to go over. Inhale, come back through, and let's do one more like that. Exhale to side bend, and then inhale, come back through again. All right, so I'm going to just place both of my hands on the mat. I'm going to draw my shoulders down ever so slightly as I lift my breastbone up, draw the chin to chest, send the tailbone away. So to me, I feel as if I'm picking myself up off of the floor, an extension, and then as I exhale, I draw my body back to the center position. Let's do that again. So I'm lengthening through the crown of the head as I lift my breastbone up, send the tailbone away, and then exhale, come all the way back through. One more time. Inhale, lengthen up, 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 up through the crown of the head, send the tailbone away. I'm not just going like this. I'm really picking myself up. And then exhale, draw yourself back to center again. Okay, so let's try this with these gliders. So I'm going to draw the shoulders down, come up into that extension, And now this time, as I come back through, I want to reach these gliders away. I'm going to sit back in the child's pose. Now I draw the gliders back to me slightly and lift up through the crown of the head. And again, exhale, slide them away slightly. Flexion. And again, inhale, lengthen, up, 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 up. Draw them to you a little bit, come up into slight extension. And exhale, draw back through flexion and reach. And let's do one more time. Inhale to lengthen up. And exhale, come all the way back. Good, come all the way back up. Okay, so now I'm going to see if I can move one arm without letting anything else change here in my body. So remember, when you're on 4 points, meaning my hands and my knees, when you're on 4 points of your body, you have weight distribution between those 4 points, right? But when you release one of those points, your weight distribution is now between 3 points. Okay, so what we're going to do is I slightly transition my weight between these 3 points. So it'll be a slight subtle shift that you'll feel between those points. So on 4, I'm going to shift to 3. Just play around with that a little bit in and of itself. So I'm on 4 points, I'm going to shift to 3. Feel what that feels like. 4 points, shift to 3. Now I'm going to maintain that shift and see if I can just move this around. So it's allowing me to have some freedom in my shoulder joint here. Just moving this around. All right, let's do the other side. Pretty simple there. Okay, so I'm going to go from 4 points to 3. Practice a few times. Here and here. Now I know my elbows look like they're locked, and I'm sure I'll get some comments about that, but this is my locked elbow. I'm crazy hypermobile. So that's my long and strong arm right there. And one more time. That's why Pilates is so good for me. I'm so hypermobile. It keeps me stronger. It keeps me strong so I just don't fly into my joints. And again, so one of the beauties of a lot of this work is that it lengthens your muscle. So if you're too loose, it's going to strengthen your muscle back up to its natural length. And if you're too tight, it's going to lengthen your muscle out to its natural length. So the whole goal of all of this work is to find the natural length of the muscle so that you don't ever get too short or too tight. It increases your range of motion as a result. Okay, so now all we're going to do is I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to put them at my feet. So I'm coming back here. I'm going to put these at my feet. And we're going to do the same kind of stuff. Now, obviously, I am not on a mat here. You can take a mat or something and put it under your knees if this type of work bothers your knees. I'm going to come back on all fours again. All right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with shifting that weight from 4 points to 3 and slide a leg away. Draw that knee back in. Do the other side. So slide. So if you don't get that slight shift, what happens is you tend to drop the hip of the leg that's reaching behind you. Play with it. See what happens. So I'm not going to do that shift this time. And as I reach my leg, this hip's going to drop. It just naturally is going to start dropping. But if I create that kind of shift over so that I have 3 points, that hip stays at the same height. Play with it. See what happens in your body. So a lot of times in classes, I'll hear teachers say, don't let anything change and send one leg behind you. Well, you're shifting because you're going again from 4 points to 3 points. So there is a slight shift that happens. It has to happen. If it doesn't, you're not going to be able to maintain that look of stability that the teacher is asking you to maintain. There's a little shift. So again, just play with these concepts. Once you play with them and you see, oh, that makes sense, it starts making sense and it works. Okay. So anyway, just play around with that. Again, you can use gliders for this. I'm just going to close with a little bit of a side bend, which I love. I think it's really important. You can sit cross-legged. You can sit on a chair. You can sit like in this mermaid position, whatever works for you. I'm going to just sit cross-legged here. And I'm just going to go up and over through a little side bend, draw this back up, and I'm going to do the other side. So going up and over through a side bend, and then come all the way back up again. And same thing, up and over through a side bend. Good, come all the way back. And last time, up and over. I'm going to put both of my hands here. I'm going to spin this around and come back up this way. See if you can do it. So I'm going to go up and over Both hands are going to land on here as I spin around and come back up again. So I'm making a semicircle. Over. Notice I'm not leaning, right? I'm going into a side bend. I'm going to start rotating around, get both of my hands on here. Keep on coming over and up. And again, up and over. Both hands on here. Rotate around, come back up. And one more time. This feels so good. And all the way back up again. So if you have any questions, just let us know, and I'm happy to help you. I love gliders. You don't have to use gliders. You can use socks. You can use towels. But if you have any questions, just let us know. You can email us at posturestudio.com. We can do online sessions. We also do online classes, and we can make videos for you. Thanks so much. Bye.